The afternoon sun hung low over the little town of Pinewood, its golden light spilling across cracked sidewalks and dusty streets. It was the kind of town where everyone knew each other's business, yet sometimes they forgot to see the people right in front of them. At the corner of Maple Street, Aaliyah Johnson held her younger brother's hand. At only 12 years old, she had learned to grow up too fast. Her shoes were scuffed, the soles nearly coming apart, and her faded blue dress had been handed down so many times it no longer looked like the original garment. But her spirit shone brighter than her clothes ever could. Her brother tugged at her sleeve. "Laya, can we get candy? Just one piece." Aaliyah sighed, opening her little coin pouch. She counted carefully. 3 quarters, 2 dimes, and a single penny. Barely enough for bread and maybe a small bag of rice. She smiled softly and shook her head. "Not today, Junior. Maybe next time, okay? Mama needs us to stretch what we have." Junior pouted but nodded. He trusted his sister. As they waited to cross the street, Aaliyah noticed an old man standing just a few steps away. He leaned heavily on a wooden cane, groceries weighing down his other arm. The bag was too full, one apple already rolling toward the gutter. The man looked at the busy road, cars whizzing by, drivers unwilling to stop. His brow furrowed with worry. No one else paid him any mind. People walked past, businessmen in suits, mothers hurrying with children, teenagers laughing as they biked by. Not a single soul slowed down to help. Aaliyah's heart tightened. She glanced at her brother, then at the man. Without hesitation, she let go of Junior's hand. "Sir," she said softly, stepping closer. "Do you need help crossing?" The old man turned, startled. His eyes, gray with age but still sharp, met hers. A gentle smile touched his lips. "Well now, young lady. I surely would appreciate that." She reached for his grocery bag. "Here, I can carry this." "Oh no, I don't want to trouble you." "It's no trouble," she insisted with a grin. "Mama always says helping people is what makes the world better." He chuckled, leaning on her small shoulder as they stepped into the crosswalk together. Cars honked impatiently, one man shouting out his window, "Move it, already!" But Aaliyah ignored them, walking steady and slow so the man wouldn't stumble. When they reached the other side, the man sighed in relief. "Thank you, child. Most folks don't have the time for old bones like mine." Aaliyah handed back his bag. "Everyone's in a hurry, I guess. But I got time." His eyes softened. He saw more than just a poor girl, he saw dignity, compassion, and strength. But before he could ask her name, she grabbed Junior's hand again. "We gotta go, sir. Mama's waiting. Bye." And with that, she disappeared into the crowd. The stranger's true identity. The old man remained at the corner, staring after her. His name was Henry Thompson, the wealthiest farmer in Pinewood. His land stretched for miles, fields of corn and soybeans feeding half the county. Yet for all his wealth, he was lonely. His wife had passed years ago, and his children had long since moved to the city, chasing their own dreams. To most people, Henry was nothing more than a figure of wealth. They saw his money before they saw the man. But Aaliyah hadn't seen money. She had simply seen someone who needed help. That night, as Henry sat at his long dining table in his grand but empty farmhouse, he replayed the encounter in his mind. The sound of her voice. The sincerity in her eyes. He realized it had been years since anyone had looked at him that way, with kindness, not calculation. Life in Aaliyah's home. Meanwhile, across town, Aaliyah sat at a small wobbly kitchen table with her mama and brother. Dinner was plain, beans and cornbread, the same as the night before. Her mother, exhausted from cleaning rooms at the hotel all day, rubbed her aching hands. "Mama," Aaliyah said carefully, "I met an old man today. I helped him cross the street." Her mother smiled faintly. "That's my girl. The Lord blesses those who bless others. Remember that." Aaliyah nodded, though she wasn't thinking about blessings. She was thinking about the sadness in the man's eyes. The second meeting. The next morning, Henry drove his old pickup truck into town. He parked outside the small grocery store and waited. Hours passed before he spotted her again, Aaliyah, walking hand in hand with Junior, clutching a few coins. He followed them inside and watched as she carefully counted every penny, buying only bread, rice, and a small carton of milk. She skipped over the candy aisle without hesitation, though her brother lingered longingly. Moved, Henry approached them. "Well, hello there," he said warmly. Aaliyah looked up in surprise. "Oh. Hello, sir. I never did thank you proper for yesterday," Henry said. "You've got yourself a good heart. Tell me, what's your name?" "Aaliyah, sir. And this is my brother, Junior." "Well, Miss Aaliyah, I wonder if you and your family might visit my farm this weekend. I could use a hand or two, and I'd like to repay your kindness." Her eyes widened. "A farm? Really?" Henry chuckled. "Yes, really. You'll see more chickens than you can count." Junior's face lit up. "Chickens?" Aaliyah hesitated. Her mama had always warned her to be careful. "I'll ask my mama," she said. The farm visit. That weekend, the Johnson family arrived at Thompson Farm. They were stunned. Rolling green fields stretched as far as the eye could see. Barns towered like red giants. Workers moved about, tending to animals and crops. Henry greeted them with a warm smile. "Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you came." Aaliyah's mama looked uneasy. "Sir, we don't mean to intrude." "You're not intruding," Henry interrupted kindly. "This farm has been too quiet for too long. It'll do me good to have guests." From that day forward, Aaliyah became a frequent visitor. She fed chickens, gathered eggs, and learned how to milk cows. The farmhands took a liking to her, impressed by her determination. "That girl's got more grit than most grown men," one said. Henry grew fond of her, too. He slipped extra food into her basket, paid her small wages for her work, and sometimes sat with her beneath the shade of an old oak tree, telling her stories of his youth, challenges and doubts. But not everyone was pleased. Some townsfolk whispered behind Henry's back. "Why's he spending time with that poor black girl?" one muttered at the diner. "He's got no family of his own, and now he's bringing in strangers?" Others accused Aaliyah's family of taking advantage of him. "They're just after his money," they sneered. The gossip reached Aaliyah's ears, and it stung. One afternoon, she asked Henry, "Do people think we're using you?" Henry looked at her, his eyes kind. "Let them think what they want. I know the truth. And the truth is, you reminded me what it means to be human again." The scholarship announcement. Months later, at the county fair, Henry stood on stage with a microphone in hand. The crowd buzzed with curiosity. What was the richest man in town doing here? Henry cleared his throat. Folks, I want to share a story. Not about money. Not about crops. But about kindness. Months ago, a little girl helped me cross the street. She didn't know who I was. She didn't care. She just saw someone who needed help. That girl's name is Aaliyah Johnson. And today, I'm starting a scholarship in her honor. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Aaliyah froze where she stood, tears filling her eyes. Henry smiled down at her. Because kindness is worth more than gold. And that kind of heart deserves every chance in the world. The crowd erupted in applause. Aaliyah's mama sobbed openly, clutching her daughter's hand. Years later, the story didn't end there. With Henry's support, Aaliyah went to school, later to college. She became the first in her family to graduate. And when she returned to Pinewood, she came not as the poor little girl who once counted pennies, but as a teacher, dedicated to giving children the same hope she once gave a lonely old man. And Henry? He finally felt like he had family again. At every milestone of Aaliyah's life, he was there, smiling, proud, and grateful for the day a little girl helped him cross the street. Because sometimes the smallest act of kindness can ripple into something bigger than anyone could ever imagine.